Now let's talk about the freshness of the zone. So when it comes to the supply and demand zones, they don't last forever. The strength does not last forever. Because if you think about it, these zones, we're relying on the fact that the large market maker or a large institution has the desire to rally the market higher, to acquire offers and rally the market higher so that later on they can sell and make big profits. Or we're relying on the fact that a large institution has a large amount of supply that they want to liquidate. So we're relying on the fact that they have this initiative and that they're going to come back up to the supply or go back to the demand zone and try to carry out their plan in a short amount of time. So normally we want to, or when we're looking at these zones, we want to look at the freshness of the zone, meaning it's strongest when you have the first touch. When it goes back up to that zone for the first time, that's when the zone is strongest. So if you look at the case of the supply, when that aggressive seller shows his hand, when price goes back up to that zone, it is more likely then that they will sell aggressively again at a good price here. Okay, so the zone is strongest on the first touch. Now, the second touch, the second time it comes to this level, it's still pretty strong because oftentimes, as I mentioned before, and I keep reiterating this because I want this to go from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, the fact that these are aggressive sellers, aggressive buyers, but they cannot acquire a lot of shares all at once because as they aggressively acquire offers or aggressively sell to bidders, they're driving the price up or driving the price down. And it's not favorable for them to buy at very high prices or sell at very low prices. It's just not favorable, right? So what they do is they'll wait for the second time and then they will liquidate more. And if there's a third touch, most likely this zone will be weak. Most likely price will be going in the opposite direction. But we should still pay attention to the zone because very rarely there's a third touch that will offer us a good position, a good trade on the zone. So let's look at some examples. So here we have this fresh demand zone. So the first pullback here, it goes up and it actually breaks this resistance. This is a pretty good trade here, right? You could trade this and take some nice profits. The second pullback is the one that has the massive reaction. So first pullback, second pullback. And this one actually pulls back deeper into the zone. And there's a big wick to the downside. So this candle was fully bearish at one point, appearing that it was going to break. And anyone that bought there, they were trapped. I'm sorry, anyone that sold there were sellers here selling, thinking that it was going to break. Anybody that sold there, they were trapped. And massive aggressive buyer enters the market and takes the price in the opposite direction. Okay, so there's sellers here selling, thinking that this is going to sell, and the aggressive buyer comes in, acquires all those offers, okay, gets liquidity and goes in the opposite direction. So here, massive strong move, comes back to the demand zone, and just one touch, boom, gone. All right, looking at supply. So massive sell, first touch, big sell, second touch, bigger sell. So the first and two touches offer us a high probability setup. Now let's look at just two more. So this is one more here. First pullback, massive reaction. Now look at, this is Euro USD on the daily. So we have drop, base, drop, elephant candles, bearish, engulfing, big, massive bearish candle. Bearish pin bar, massive bearish candle, okay? It reverses and come back to supply. First touch, sells again. First touch, sells again. Gives us great position. Price goes up. We can see that demand is rising here because supply is not able to take the price down. But when price comes back up to this supply zone, comes a little higher, but gives us a tweezer tops, right? Goes back down here. So that's a good sell position. That's the second pullback. But the third one here, okay, actually breaks the zone. So Price is weaker here. We see that the buyers are coming in and gaining more strength here. Supply is not able to push the market down. Big demand, aggressive buyer here, okay, and they break this zone. So when price breaks on this third touch, we're looking at a reversal and we should be buying now. So put your feedback, questions in the comments section. Open up those charts. Look at the daily, look at the 4-hour, and identify supply and demand zones and see how many touches there are on those zones.